Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So please, don't hide, just say I'll be there if it breaks, right beside you. Suddenly I know now how it feels. I no longer have to beg or steal. I can stand now on this higher ground, where love is just a sound. Where love is...
Good
morning.
Good morning, everyone. With our cups of coffee. Did you get your Timmies? Look at you.
I did.
Predictable. One of these days, you're going to come here with a mug, and I'll be shocked. And you'll probably have poured your Timmies into the mug.
Yeah, probably. Actually, I was going to do that earlier, like today. And then I was like, you know what? No.
Like, too much work, and that's another cup I have to clean.
Yeah, exactly. One of these days, though, I will shock you, and I'll show up with water.
Oh, well, no, it's a coffee show. How are you going to cut coffee out of your life?
No, I can't do that. I was thinking about it, but I can't. I can't do that.
Well, I ran out of my mushroom coffee, so it's legit Nespresso this morning.
I knew you should have got some at the Expo. I knew it. I called it.
Yeah, no, I have that one. I just the pre-made one is what I ran out of. That one, I can make that one. I still have some of that left. I was just didn't have the time to make it, and then the Nespresso machine is so quick, right, to do it. Like it's like a little Keurig cup, right? You just put it in, and it makes it, and it creates this nice little foam, and it's lovely and delicious. And I miss my coffee.
Oh.
How have you been?
I'm good. I've been great. I've been just admiring my new geckos.
Yeah, same.
So how's your week been?
It's been busy. This week flew by so quick.
It did.
Like, I can't believe it's already Sunday, and I feel like it was just yesterday we were at the Expo, right?
I know. It just went by so fast. For me too.
I still have stuff that I got from the Expo that I haven't even used yet. Like all the stuff that we picked up for the isopods.
Right.
To kind of upgrade their little thing. I'm sure you were already on it, Susie. Came in.
That was literally like the first thing I did when I got home, because I didn't want to like get everybody put in their quarantine tubs and then have to like the whole process, right? So I just left them in their deli cups and I did the isopods first.
Yeah. I got the little leaves and all that stuff. And I got extra Pangea, because I was starting to run low on some of the food that we have. And yeah, it was super exciting to be there. Who we got in the chat? We got Anna. Good morning. What's that?
Mystical Jumpers. Nikita. So here to see all y'all new Expo buys.
So this is what we've planned for today, okay? So instead of for the breeder segment today, we decided that we're gonna show off the new Expo buys. So you guys will be able to see them, Miss Snoopy. I'll pop that up.
Love it.
I will call you Miss Snoopy. You will get to see them all, and we're going to talk about them, and we're going to talk about the plans, if we have plans yet, or what's the goal with some of the pickups, because I know myself, I was very strategic about what I was bringing in. You kind of have to be when you get a collection that gets a little bit larger, and mindful of space, and want to make sure that you're working with specific things too that are maybe different, or
Yeah, so I picked up one too many, two too many. So I had to actually so you dropped me off, and I did all the isopod stuff, and then I was looking around like ready to set everybody up, and I'm like, crap, like I don't have enough bins.
You had to go back and get the bins.
After a 4-hour drive, I had to run back out. I had to get bins. And then I went to start drilling the holes, and my drill dies.
Oh, no.
Figure, right?
See, I got a whole bunch of spare bins just in case, which is good because G ended up bringing back a gecko. I mean, he ended up getting a ball python too, but I don't know why he wanted a gargoyle, so he has another gargoyle in his room. And then I have a whole bunch back here. I still have a whole bunch of bins and stuff that I have as spares just in case, because I know myself. And chances were that I might come back with more than what I had planned.
Right.
But I think that's
you held it together though.
I held it together really good. Yeah, no, I was like real like reserved on that.
Yeah, not me.
This close to wanting to jump on, maybe a frap or something, but I held it.
Yeah, you held it together. I'm actually quite proud of G too. He held it together too.
Yeah, I know. He had some extra money to spend
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah, no, and I just went wild. And it's fine. It's okay. It was my first expo. But the look of complete bliss in G's eyes when he like got his gecko, like he like was like, oh my god, like just
You
looking
have
at
a picture of that. Oh, I should have got you to show, like, to send it so I could
Oh,
post
I
it
should
up here.
have. Oh, he was just so happy.
It was very sweet. What does he say? Jumps on everything. So who else we have? So we got G in here. We got Nikita's in here. Chris from East Valley's in here. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, guys.
And we got Teresa from East Valley as well. They've been posting a lot of videos showcasing their animals. So there was one with the bull snake that came out, and they were showing off some geckos. And keep it up, guys! Those awesome videos, and it's kind of nice to see when people are showing what they're working with, and it kind of brings that human side to it, right? So many pages is just geckos, and it's just pictures of a gecko day after day, and it's kind of nice to see when you're seeing pictures and of faces and rooms and videos, and where you're actually able to interact or see how people are in real life, like hearing them talk.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they're trying. I think more people should do that. I think it brings that more human aspect, of the hobby.
Yeah, I think it's important to be original too, and that's original, right?
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. So let's do a little expo recap. Because this was, as probably everybody knows, if you
Everybody
guys have
on
been
the planet
following,
knows, okay, that I lost my expo cherry.
This was April's first expo.
It was so great.
I was Venga bus the whole way up there.
Man, like I go to sleep and it's still like like just playing in the back of my head. I'm like, stop.
It was a pretty easy drive, up to the expo. Like, it doesn't take as long as, like, it feels a little bit longer, I find, on the way back than it is on the way there.
I actually didn't find it bad either way. It wasn't too bad. I think the way up felt a little longer because I had that anticipation. Like, I just want to get there. Want to get there. But even on the way back, it wasn't bad. And we stopped at the Big Apple on the way back.
Yeah, so I think that's the trick. I think the trick is, if you have an exciting place that you're like a place that you're excited to go to, it kind of takes away that, I don't know, that like, it doesn't make it feel like it's as draggy. Like, can I just get home yet? Like we had, I had hyped up the Big Apple to you quite the whole way to Toronto.
Yeah.
Well, then when we were coming back, it was like, okay, here it is. Next stop, Big Apple.
So the whole time you were hyping it up to me, I was like, there's no way it's that big of a deal. Like, it's literally just a Big Apple. Like, but I had no idea what was inside the Big Apple. And I really want to take my kids. But the drive up there and the drive back is probably not a good time.
Yeah. Your kids don't fall asleep in the vehicle, eh?
No, they fight.
Okay. Yeah. See, Emma, like, cars are her kryptonite. So you saw, like, she was sitting beside you and she was sleeping most of the time.
She was like awake doing her thing. And then I look over and she's like mouth wide open, head cocked back, like sleeping. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite little roadside stops, I find. We always have to hit it up because of that caramel apple cheesecake, which is we haven't cracked into it yet. It's still in our freezer.
I'm surprised you haven't
Well,
tried
because
the
we had the
gizzards.
fritters, which are like delicious. You had one
Right.
in the truck, like they're so
Yeah.
good. And then we had the apple bread, so that kind of took us through the week for breakfast and stuff. We don't want to
Okay.
eat everything all at once, right?
I guess, yeah, because you're pretty far away.
Yeah,
So
it's
when
like a
it's gone,
2
it's
hour
gone.
drive if I want another cheesecake. I'm not driving 2 hours to go pick it up.
Right. Yeah.
Gerald says you can what does he say? You can leave the kids there. What, at the Big Apple? I don't think they'd appreciate
I
that.
mean, at least I know
I
they'd be well fed.
I have a feeling that they'd probably be really tired though, depending on how much time you'd spend there, because they do have the petting zoo and all sorts of like the mini putt and all sorts of
Right.
activities
Yeah, good point.
that some of the younger ones would probably just be so tired
Yeah,
and may sleep for a chunk on the way back.
actually, you know what? That actually might be how it goes, but it could also go the very opposite.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have a harder time driving down there with everyone excited and pumped to go.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So what'd you think of the expo?
It was so surreal. It was just so you remember how when we had Fatty on, he
Yeah.
was like, you have to go to be able to really experience it because you can't describe it. Basically, like you just cannot describe it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like a whole bunch of weirdos all in the same place and you're all there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to finally like feel accepted instead of just like me, myself, and I here in my snake room, right? With my
Yeah.
Instagram. There was actually like other beings around me.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And it was really neat putting the face to the brand and the face to the Instagram name and stuff. It
Yeah,
was
because
neat.
you got to meet people like you. So before Crested Geckos, you were working with ball pythons.
Yeah.
So you had been in ball pythons for like several years and working with a lot of different people within ball pythons and getting to know people, but never really had an opportunity to put a face to a name, right?
Right, exactly. So like for example, I've been doing ball pythons since 2017 and
Yeah.
I've known Billy since 2017 through Instagram, right? And it wasn't until this last Sunday that I finally met him, that I finally put the face to the brand.
Yeah.
So that's
And
like
he's just
so
like
cool.
his videos.
Oh yeah, his persona is the exact same as he carries himself out online. It's the exact same in person.
Yeah.
And yes, gee, I did call us a bunch of weirdos because from a normal person standpoint, we're weird.
Yeah. Anyone comes into the house and is like, "What do you mean you have a reptile room?"
Yeah, like what do you mean snakes have 2 hemipenes? What? Like
Yeah. Yeah, and there was there other not gecko, but I guess ball python breeders that you bumped into that you had wanted to meet for a while? Like,
yeah, there was a few. So I ran into Will, I ran into Mason from T Dot Exotics. We had a conversation
yep.
with him in the parking lot.
Yeah, we did because
And
G picked up a snake from him.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I seen Lord of Lions booth and Stellar
which was
Serpent booth.
super nice, by the way. And his
It was.
banner, like his booth was really nice. G's now
Yeah.
feeling quite inspired to kind of boost up the look of his booth for
Oh
our
yeah.
expo in
Like,
June.
it was a nice booth. And I met Billy and I met forgive me, I can't remember his name right now. Shoot. I want to say it's Fred. Maybe it's not.
Okay.
Hold on.
She met a lot of people.
I met so many people, but this one individual, I finally put a face to the name. Okay. And he actually gave me, Jeff Kruger. He
Oh yes.
yeah, he
Oh right,
gave
in
me
Billy's booth. Yeah.
yeah, he gave me a hug because he had bought like his whole asphalt collection off of somebody in BC. And this individual bought all of my asphalt stuff from me when I sold out of asphalt.
Yeah.
And he was just like, thanks for the amazing animals. Like kind of like I was responsible for him getting the animals, but I wasn't responsible for him getting the animals.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to like get the credit and stuff because it was a super asphalt banana that he had bought, and that's one that I had produced. Who else did I meet? I met.
He says you met Austin.
Did I?
I think he was in the booth right beside Billy.
I did. We didn't.
It
Really
all
keep
mashes
them.
up. There's been so many people, and I'm gonna say April was very overwhelmed. She was just going around the whole expo like, oh my god, there's so
Oh my
many
goodness! And like, so I had sold bugs at the expo, okay, and I wanted to get the bugs out of G's truck.
To clarify, for people who are going to come up here and say she wasn't vending, she didn't sell bugs at the expo.
No, I brought
a conversation that came up in G's Wednesday podcast that he was on. So she had already sold the bugs. They picked up in the parking lot at the expo.
Yes, so this is what I'm getting at. Okay, so I wanted to get the bugs out of G's truck because I didn't want them to overheat and stuff. So I finally found the lady that bought them, right? It was so busy I couldn't find her, and she was sitting right in front of me with witching hour reptiles. She's really cool too, by the way. And so I get out to the truck, and I'm like, hey, if I waste much more time in this truck, I'm gonna miss everything. Like I felt like I need to be in there, to be all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Even catch the smallest glimpse of what the expo brings.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't long enough.
Well, you'll be able to come on in June at the Ottawa Expo because G and I are both vending with our own tables, and you'll be able to spend the whole weekend there if you want.
Oh, this is so great! I'm totally down for that, and I want to help you. I want to help you vend too.
Yeah, and it'll be great. It'll be nice to have someone there so I can have a wash and break.
Yeah, of course.
Not rely on Aiden being there with like, I don't know what to do. Wait till my mom gets back and we'll finish the sale. He says you look lost. Okay, so let's unpack this. G became kind of like your pack mule at the expo, where he was holding a lot of your stuff. And I'm there with all these bags, and here's my husband walking around holding April stuff, and I'm like, how did this happen?
So I didn't make him hold them for long. I just like needed more hands to hold my shit, and I knew you had your hands full, and G did not have his hands full. So I'm like, can you please hold my stuff, please? Just for a minute so I can buy more crap that I don't need.
Okay, so it was not just for a minute. It was minutes over several occasions.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to bring like a wagon. The next one. I'll just bring a wagon.
A little backpack. And he says, so you're accepting donations to shop in June.
Who's sending me donations?
He says, so April is accepting donations to shop in June. So you can go shopping in June at the expo because you're going to be there all weekend. So you're now accepting donations so that you can shop in June.
Yeah, and I need a bag carrier. Who wants to be my bag carrier? Because I'm going to get a lot of bags.
Nikita says she's going to be stopping by the booth, so maybe you can coordinate something with her. Well, at the end of the day, depending on what you buy, you can put it at the back of our booth, right? It's not like you have to carry it around. We have the space there. That's what, and like when I'm vending, well, I haven't vended yet with Gecko Diva. So we vended a couple times with VIP Morphs. And of course, like I'm walking around buying stuff anyways. So every time we do buy stuff when we're vending, we just we have a little container and we put it in, the back of the booth, and we have a place to put it. So it's not like you're carrying it around.
Right. Okay, cool.
And you got to meet some gecko people too. So we hovered around Sam's booth, Modern Gecko. You got your shirt on.
He's so sweet. Like, he really is. His persona is just so kind.
Oh, Nikita says that she's going to lend you a stroller or buggy cart.
Yes. Just me walking around the expo with like crap upon crap falling out of this buggy cart.
And yes, I always shop. Lately, it's been plants. I've been really good about the gecko stuff. I've been trying to be a little bit more focused with geckos, but yeah, my plants, it's all up here and it's getting a little out of control and behind me, and oh well. So yes, modern gecko has been pretty awesome, and you picked up some even more things. We'll show them later on what we got, but We got this lovely mug. Thank you very much. It's awesome.
Thank you. I got this shirt.
Yeah.
Comfiest shirt ever. Like,
Yeah, Gia and
such a
Emma got shirts too. I already had my shirt. They are comfy. They're like awesome shirts.
They're great
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So do we want to pop into the tea segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. If I can find, there it is. It's tea time.
It's tea time.
So I feel like we need to have a little clarification on tea time.
Okay.
So tea is for the positivity in the community.
Yes.
So I figured it might be a good time to like remind people that our little tea time, although we do like to bring up some concerns and stuff that come up, it's mainly meant to really promote some pretty awesome things that are going on, like, you know, recent news and things that have dropped this week that are going to be beneficial to people, or new morph stuff, or any cool stuff that's coming down the pipe, right? So for my little tea this time, Flora Fauna is coming up May 3rd and 5th in Windham, New York. And they just they're doing the Gecko Standard Club. Gold was it Gold Standard Gecko Club?
Gold Standard Gecko
Yeah,
Club.
which is going to be the very first gecko show.
Ooh,
And it's going to be held at Flora Fauna, which I really wish we could go this year, but I think we're going to make it a point to go to it next year, which is something we can kind of plan ahead.
Yeah, that's something I need. That's something that we would need a passport for, right?
Yes, because we'd be going to the States. G says, "Oh, bring the drama."
No.
No. G, you can bring the drama on your podcast whenever you want. This is not the place. The cool thing about this Gold Standard Gecko Club that I found is that they came out this week with standards. So actual standards, confirmation standards for geckos, or for crested geckos, which I think has been, I don't know about you, but a huge impact for me to see that and to be able to really have a guideline that really describes every little thing that you're trying to like. Right, for the longest time you're focusing on like your eye and what you're seeing, right? And then you compare with what other people are talking about or posting, and you know, like you want to have good structure and like a nice big wide head, but at the end of the day, when you're new in the hobby, you're trying to determine, okay, well, what is good structure? And you're going off of what other people are telling you. And if you don't, like, I found I'll have a gecko and I'll think, wow, this is really good structure. But unless you see something that just blows that out of the water, you don't know. So it's like you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
So when I seen that, the first thing I did was go to my gecko room, and I'm like looking at everybody. And honestly, I felt so bad putting everybody underneath a microscope.
Yeah.
Okay. But before I start producing hatchlings, I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I don't want to have babies with possible like bad structure, right?
Yeah.
And I've actually, so some of my geckos didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
And I'm going to list them as pet only because they don't make the cut for the standard. And if they breed them, they breed them. It's on them. But I had them listed as a pet.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I have some geckos with really big, beautiful heads, nice, you know, a nice spine, nice tail, you know what I mean? And then I go looking at the other geckos that are roughly the same age, and their head is really narrow, and it's a bunch of.
Yeah, and we talked about that this week as well. I think there's a fine line that people have to remember, that sometimes you can have two of the nicest, best structure looking geckos and you can pair them and the pairing just doesn't work.
Oh,
and
really?
everything that they produce is, you know, maybe not up to par that you want. And I've heard that where like people are like, and then when we're talking about lineage this week, I know the Gecko Pod talked about that this week on a lineage perspective. like what's in the lineage, and do you like what's the good of using the lineage to sell a gecko. So if you're saying it's from this lineage or it's from this pairing, doesn't necessarily mean that the gecko that's being produced is going to have all those great attributes. I mean, that gecko could literally have all the negative attributes, right, for in that
Right.
hatchling. So I think there's a fine line to remember in that. Sometimes you can have a gecko that has a lot of all the positive traits that you want in a good structure, but there might be lacking in one specific area where that
Right.
you can hopefully offset depending on how the pairing works with a different gecko that can maybe be able to complement that. Like for
Right.
instance, if everything about it, the morph is what you want, or the pattern, everything about the structure is great, except for you're finding the head maybe a little bit narrow. Well, maybe putting it with a gecko with a much wider head will help produce hatchlings with much larger heads, right? But great.
Okay. So when you break it down like this, it makes me think of dog breeding,
Yeah.
like the registered quality dog breeding.
Yeah.
Um, and it makes sense, right? Like when you broke it down like that.
Yeah, like, and it's the same, like, so I do geckos, but on the side I also do kuni pigs. So
Okay.
we have Crabtree Family Farm, and we do the kuni pigs, and they're all registered, and they have a registered association, the Association of Kuni Pigs of there's a Kuni Pigs Association. I can't remember. It's AKKPS is the short
Okay.
form for it. And they track lineage, and they track percentage of inbreeding as well. So you actually have a calculator where you can put in your registration number for the male and the female pig, and then it'll tell you what the percentage of inbreeding is with that pairing for the piglets that you're going to get. And the whole
Okay.
goal is I try to stay under 10%. I mean, they say under 15, but your best thing really is under 10. But they'll still have different conformation traits. So you'll have, if this one's a little bit taller or has a longer snout, but you're wanting to bring it back and make it shorter, then you'll want to kind of find a pairing to be able to kind of bring that into the
Right.
bloodline, right?
Yeah.
So that's how kind of I see it when you're looking at pairings and looking at confirmation. I think this is great, especially for new people coming in, because it's a guideline that a lot of people have now visibly that they can see and follow and use that when they're buying their geckos, when they're trying to price their geckos, choosing how to pair their geckos. I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I also find that maybe how do you capture a nice structure in a photo, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you're going to buy a gecko, and you just see a picture of a gecko in the photo, it could look like it has a big head. It could look
Yeah.
like it has a structure, right? So what would you suggest in terms of purchasing to get like the further proof of good structure?
I think that, for my opinion, videos come in handy.
Yeah.
I think see, and that's why I try to do a lot of reels with my Instagram instead of just doing, like, I'll do photos in the light box, right? But I think that when you're actively showing collection or hatchlings, or even if you're trying to promote something, the video is very beneficial because you're moving it around and you can kind of see all different angles of that animal as it's moving.
Right. Okay.
So, like, if I'm looking to invest a lot of money in an animal, I like to see a video.
Right. Okay.
And of course, it's not always necessarily possible, and not everyone is quick to like go and say, "Okay, I'll send you a video." But most of the time, like, and especially if it's something that doesn't have like necessarily the lineage, or it's not someone that where you haven't seen their collection before or bought from before. And Nikita's saying the same thing. I find
Yeah.
videos on the hand help with that too. Very much
Yeah.
so, and that helps with color too, because that's the other side of things where people feel like they get taken, where they expect a certain color, and it's
Yeah.
not as nice as what they had thought. And when you're taking a video, I find the color seems to be more true, especially because you can compare it with the color of the hand
Yeah.
and everything around it.
I find so like with me and my videos, it's either on a white background in my hand, or I
Mhm.
have actually, I just noticed that the enclosure I have behind me actually will kind of level out the white and the light contrast and stuff like that in the video. I don't know why, but the enclosure, just like the natural looking enclosure and then the gecko in my hand, it really helps with the color.
Nikita wrote something, but then she wrote, oops, I can't type, because I think what she means is that she's also able to compare the size of the fingers to my fingers and go from so April got surprised with this because we got these morning geckos and we thought they were going to be way bigger than they were. And
so I got a morning gecko, right? We got our morning geckos and we got the picture. We got the picture of the morning gecko in the hand, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, they're kind of big.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're small, but I've never seen a morning gecko like in person and not like a juvie one either, right? So had no idea what to expect.
So we get them and I'm like, wow, it's really small. Like,
no, but leading up to there, we were talking about enclosure types and he'd be like, oh, like you don't want to put that in there because like even if you close the little things at the end for the wires to go in, they could still come out a little crack. And then I had shown these type of things. He's like, oh, the holes are fine, but the top has these little slats and they can squeeze through the slats. And I'm looking at these, I'm like, how is it going to squeeze through the slats? They're so small. Like I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine when hatchlings pop out. Oh my goodness.
Like, this brings me back to the you can't always trust a picture, right? Because the gecko looked much bigger in the hand. Okay, and I think maybe it was just zoomed in or something, right? It was just the angle of it.
Yeah.
But it looked much bigger in the hand than it did in that deli cup when we picked them up. I was like, what the heck? Like it's like this big.
Yeah, so Nikita, they do self-produce too. We have ours, like you can't really see it, it's up there, but it's small, it's big enough to be oh yeah, she has hers. There's like these little acrylic and they use them for spiders a lot of the time. But we got like a jumbo one and the holes are small enough to keep them in, but they will not be small enough for hatchlings and babies. So the plan, I know for mine, the plan is I'm going to get screen and I'm going to affix screen.
Okay.
Like probably silicone screen or something around the outside of the holes so that it's still vented, but that the holes are blocked. Okay. Sad that it won't look as pretty as it is, but
we could probably get white screen or even like a clear screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'd rather that than have a bunch of morning geckos all over the inside of this room. As cool as that would be.
So I was searching for mine last night. So I've been looking for them for 2 freaking days. 2 days. And I was like, did they get out? Like, did my kid maybe open the door and let them out?
Yeah.
Like, where are my geckos? Okay. So I'm looking for like an hour last night. I find them. They're in the holes of my cork bark. Like they're in the cork bark.
Mine too. That's where I found it. It popped its little head out and you saw its eye and it was like super tiny little hole of cork bark that it was hiding in.
I'm like, well, I hope you don't like hit a growth spurt in there because you'll be stuck.
I was told that they don't grow as the size of a 4 to 5 year old pinky finger. Yeah, they are small. I can tell you, we have them, Nikita. They're small.
They're super small.
They're only for looking. They're not for handling.
That's what Sam said to me. He was like, because I like to touch my geckos. He's like, they're just for looking. They're just for looking. Don't touch. Don't touch them.
They're fast too. Oh my goodness.
They are so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so that the standard I think will be a huge help. The other big thing I wanted to mention on our lovely tea time is I'm going to be a contestant on the 15 Minutes of Lame. Fat Man Nation.
Cue the clap.
If anyone wants to follow that, it used to be Snakes and the Fat Man, and it's now changed over to Fat Man Nation because he has a lot more variety of podcasts that are on there. And if you guys check out his website, you will see that Coffee and Cresties are friends of Fat Man Nation.
Woohoo.
Which is awesome. And I'm going to be on 15 Minutes Lame. So Gerald did it last year.
Gerald looks jealous in this comment.
What do you say? But you sell geckos? Yeah. Oh. Everyone's popping up. Yeah, but you sell geckos. Yeah. Well, maybe a gecko person will be able to outshine a ball python breeder this year.
Maybe.
We'll
Imagine.
see. Thanks,
Ooh.
Teresa. Yeah, they're on it too. Chris did his 15 minutes of lame, so he's officially in the club because he did his a few weeks ago, I think, or a couple episodes back. And I'm super excited. I'm gonna bring geckos up. I'm sure
Yeah.
that
And you know what? The
Yeah.
hope maybe what'll come from this is you'll be able to trigger more people to come into the
Yeah.
gecko world to help the market and the prices and
Yeah.
help all of those geckos that are looking for homes find homes.
Yeah, and maybe I'll be able to convert some more ball python breeders, like you.
Yes. Okay, listen here. Convert. I'm still doing the ball pythons. I almost left. I almost like gave it all to the geckos, but like I'm like, you know what? No. I'm not gonna let geckos take over my whole life, but they're so cute.
You'll make way for the hobby. Yeah, exactly. So I know last year they had a couple. I think they had a boa breeder. Like it's not always necessarily ball pythons, but it's very ball python heavy. And it's kind of like, 15 minutes of fame, but it's 15 minutes of lame. And it's how you got into the hobby, what you're working with, and it's a 15-minute interview. And it's all in good fun. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fun time to participate and even to watch it. So I suggest people going to check it out and seeing the other interviews. But I will be posting it on Instagram so you guys know where to find it. I'll share the link on my story, but it will be on May 1st at night.
So exciting.
Yeah, you just want to be part of the lamest chat. Gee, I already do all the techie side things for you and save your butt when you can't bring a picture up on the screen. So I'm already part of the lamest chat.
Plus, like we're used to the lamest chat being all men. Crystal will not fit in. I'm sorry. This is why we have coffee and Cresties.
Yeah. I'm sure I can make a guest appearance 1 or 2 times.
Maybe.
Yeah, December is crazy because December they do campaigning, right? Because 25% of it is popularity vote, where everyone gets to go vote online for you, and the other 75% is split between 3 judges, where they all get an opportunity to vote for you.
Right. Okay.
And then you get someone gets crowned the winner.
And then what happens? You just get a whole episode, or what?
And then you get a whole episode with Chris.
Nice. Nice.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's like, I think it's awesome because it shines a light on a lot of breeders in the industry.
Yeah.
And gives opportunity for people to go and talk about their business and stuff. Yes, the campaign is exhausting but fun. It'll be fun. That's for sure.
I remember those cringe-worthy videos, Gerald.
Oh, his red light special
They
ones?
were so cringe. I'm like, oh. I'm surprised you didn't win, though. It was pretty lame.
Yeah, very lame. That's for sure. You want to hop in and show off some geckos?
You know what? I thought you'd never ask me this.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's pop
I'm so
them up.
excited. Oh, she's so perfect. I love her so much. So I featured this girl in my reel this morning.
Yeah. So who's this?
This is Lily. She's from Alyssa's Geckos. She's strawberry blonde with reverse pinning. And she's so perfect.
And she has Northern Gecko lineage, eh?
Yeah, so I don't have any lineage from her from her parents or anything. I just know she's from Northern Gecko. And I know that she reproduces, and the babies that she reproduces are phenomenal, and the carbon copies of Mama. Like, they're just amazing babies. So I'm really excited to breed her. She actually looks like she could be gravage, so I'm going to wait a little while to see if she lays. Yeah. And obviously she needs to pass quarantine and stuff before I breed her. But she's a big girl. She's hefty. She's like 60 grams.
Yeah,
She's
I am.
massive.
So what's your plans eventually after quarantine with her, and like after you've had the time and before you start, bringing her into projects? So what projects are you thinking for her?
I'm thinking the reverse pinning with the red and the yellow. I want to bring more yellow imports into her, but I want to
Okay.
keep that strawberry reverse pinning, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to maybe put Charming with her. Charming is like super neon yellow. Like I think he's C2 yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has the reverse pinning, just not to the extreme that she has it.
Yeah.
But like I said, he has the bright, bright yellow and the really extremely white ports.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to just improve her color. So I want to keep her structure. Her structure is perfect. And he has really good structure too. But I want to enhance the color a little bit more.
Yeah.
But she's such a sweet girl. I love her so much.
I remember seeing her when she was listed. I'm like, April.
Yeah, like, I am pretty sure you were like, look at this. Right into my
Well,
DM.
I was looking at her for myself too, and I was like, I don't need another yellow right now.
She's so perfect. And she's a little piggy too. So I fed them the next day after I brought them home from the expo.
Yeah.
And this girl, I'm not even kidding, she cleared her whole deli cup. Like so I don't fill them up to the top, right?
Yeah.
But it's like half, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes up to like this line. She cleared it. Just gone.
Yeah.
And she's not shy. She'll just eat right in front of you. I don't have any other geckos that will lick their Pangea right in front of me, but this girl will. She doesn't care.
She's all about the food.
Yeah, she's so perfect. She's so perfect.
Let's go on to the next one. Who's this?
This is Gizmo. This is Gizmo from Modern Gecko. He's an Exanthic. Super excited for him. He's still a little on the small side, so I'm not going to breed him this year. Probably next year. So I also, he's just going to go into my Exanthic stuff. So I want to make some empty back Exanthics, maybe some Exanthics with the like big ports. And I actually seen an Exanthic the other day. The dorsal was white. Like it was like white full pinstripe dorsal on this Exanthic. Okay. And it was the coolest looking thing. I was like, oh, I gotta make that too. Like, because they're just so neat. They're so neat. I want to add some white to the crests too.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff that people have been doing with Exanthic. I find like, and when I show off my geckos too, there's some stuff that I want to talk about, but like it's neat to have a plan on pattern and trying to do something different than just it being Exanthic, right? Like I think when there's a new gene, it's very much like, let's make more of the new gene, let's make more Exanthics, but to have a plan like, oh, maybe we put soft scale, or maybe we put this into it, or a pattern, or to have a little bit more of a play around with the look of Exanthic and what we can do with it.
Yeah, so I don't want to just produce more black geckos. Like I want to add like lots of white to them. But I also don't want to make the Exanthic lily whites because those have been overproduced as well. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out a way to bring more white into the gecko without adding lily.
Okay. Oh, he's very cool. Exanthics are awesome. And who's this one?
I love her. This is Rudy. She's from Czech Republic. She was part of our European import. Yeah, she's look at her. She's pretty self-explanatory.
She was so like, the photo really doesn't give it justice. Like seeing her in person, her color like is electric. It pops. Yeah,
so I think that's why my camera can pick like the mediocre level of her color up so well, is because she really does pop in person.
Yeah.
Like all of my other reds, they go brown. They go brown when I take a photo of them, but this girl, her red stays red. Like it's not even a deep red. It's a very vibrant orange, just like beautiful red.
Yeah, when Edith says write me down for one of her babies, or maybe two.
So she is a red empty back tri with partial quad stripes. That I learned that the other day, and she has a French crest.
He's giving you a cheap shot. He says, we don't make, we introduce animals and they make it. We're not mixing paint.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you know what, G? The
Shots
animals wouldn't be
fired.
introduced without us introducing them. So
Shots
there's a little bit
fired.
of thought in the background saying, I'm going to put this to this to produce this.
Yeah. Yeah. And her structure is like,
Hopefully.
I love her structure. Like it literally hits the gold standard every time. So I'm really,
Yeah.
really excited for her.
And that's another thing too, looking at the picture, it doesn't do it justice. Like if you see the top part of this gecko, like her back and her head, like it's just, she's a stunning gecko. Like in person, when you really see her.
And I'm fairly certain she has that that pretty awesome tangerine that we were talking about the other day.
I think so too. And that's a struggle when we go through mine. I've had a real struggle capturing it, and I'll talk about it when I show my guys up. And so this one, I saw that on the list, and I was on my short list to pick up, and then you snagged her first.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Because I was looking for a non-lily to bring over as well, and then I was like, oh well, there's the non-lily gone.
Right.
Because they have a lot of lilies.
Her name is Manastatni. So fun fact with these two girls, I named them using their language origin, so their origin of language, where they came from, which is the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Yeah.
So just to honor like their roots and their background and their lineage. And she's just, you see her. I wanted to bring in more than one gecko, and I didn't want to bring in the lily white. So I was like, you know what? We'll get a dark gecko because I have a dark male. His balls just dropped. Okay. His balls just dropped. So I'm like, you know what? I need a dark female because I don't have a dark female. So away she comes.
And she fires up really dark because I've seen
yes,
and like of her fired up. Yeah.
Actually, fun fact: mid-fire, she's green.
No way.
Not even kidding. I tried to get a picture to show you the other day, but like, so between like not being fired and mid-fire, so there's like not being fired, mid-fire, full fire. Mid-fire, she's green. Full fire, she's black.
So that's what I was thinking might happen, which is why she was on my short list to pick up, because when she's on their site, her sale photo, the coloration she had was fired up, and the black coloration she has is very, very consistent looking from the one I'll show you, show everybody, Lipton. So I was like, okay, I was looking for maybe adding another female to the green project. And so I was like, I think that one's might go green. So you and I might have to talk for the next season.
We might have to have a conversation about that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
No, she's really
I'm
cool.
sorry, I didn't mean to like snag her from you.
Oh God, no. No, she you didn't even know.
She's pretty sweet. I think she might.
She's really pretty.
She feels softer than my other one, so she might even be soft scale. I'm not sure. I find
really cool.
This one breeder, they have a lot of hidden gems, if you noticed, and they don't. I don't know if they label it or if they even recognize what they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to the extent of like the tangerine stuff and the soft scale and yeah. G says Hulk project. Yes, I'll talk about it in a minute. And who's this one?
Her name is Greta. And she's sorry?
So she's from Modern, right?
Yes, she is. She's from Modern. She's a 66% het exanic. Yeah, I just, that this was one of my impulses. But she's gorgeous, and so I got her fired. This is the deepest I could get her fired yesterday. And there's a ton of peachy tones underneath her pinning and stuff. Like, you have to see it with the naked eye, but she has so much peach underneath. Like, it's really hard to describe. She's very unique, actually. So I really want to see what'll come out if they're not exanics, right? Like, what is hidden inside of you. She's pretty.
That's awesome.
She's shy, but she's gorgeous.
And we also got morning geckos, but we didn't post the pictures here because I'm trying to get a picture of them in the bark is
Yeah, right.
Not gonna happen. But you also got a
Chameleon gecko. I didn't
chameleon
send you
gecko,
pictures. I should
and you
have.
didn't send me the picture. But yeah, she got a female. That was another in the moment purchase at the
I
expo.
wasn't really in the moment. Okay, so do you remember us having a conversation? Because I'm like, I really want to find a chameleon gecko, but I can't find one that I trust online.
Well,
And
because you met Gino at my place, right? So
yeah,
Gino's my
yeah,
chameleon gecko.
yeah. And like, I wanted one, but I didn't want to just go order one. Okay, and I couldn't find the species. I wanted this one particular species.
Yeah.
So off to the show we go, and lo and behold, Modern Gecko has one on his table, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. So I took it. It was not impulsive. It was already pre-planned in my brain that if I found one at the expo that was decently priced,
That you were
okay,
gonna pick it up.
yeah, from someone that I could trust, which happened to be Sam, I
Yeah.
was going to bring her home. And she's a fully grown, she's a proven breeder female, and she's so sweet.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I'm excited to see, like, hopefully she proves out hopefully Xanthic, which would be because she's not related to the Xanthic male that you
No,
have, right?
yeah, no, different lines. So it's perfect.
So now we're into my guys. So this
Yeah.
guy, this is Overdraft.
I
And
can understand why you said overdraft.
he's one of the last ones I added to my list of purchases. And Overdraft is a empty back cappuccino. So he's going, and he's a male, so he's going to be taking part of my empty back lily white project. So hopefully making, I know they say the language changed from empty back to super empty back, and now it's head empty back and empty back. So I have a bunch of head empty back lily whites, and I want to be able to have him take part of that project to do empty back or super, however you want to call it, frappuccinos and incorporate cappuccino into it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, G says, LOL, cash, debit, credit card, Visa. Why is it called that? I did not go into overdraft for this gecko, okay? I just thought it was a really fun name. So we'll pop in. So I also got a visual Xanthic from, and the cappuccino, by the way, is from Modern Gecko. And the Xanthic as well. This is Spoon Man. And I have a picture of him fired down and a picture of him fired up. So Spoon Man is a visual Xanthic. And my plans for Spoon Man is to incorporate him into my Pixel project eventually with time. So what I'd like to do is try to produce some more high white Xanthics without Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a female 100% het Xanthic from from Northern Gecko that has more pattern coverage, like the Harlequin coverage on her. And through that pairing, I'm hoping to be able to get some stuff that I can retain that's gonna have a lot of high coverage. And then I'm also looking to work in through the pixel. So I think with the more white coverage, with the pixel line coming in, breaking apart the pattern, I want something to look like static. That's my goal.
That'd be cool. That'd be
So we'll
really
see what
cool.
happens. It's kind of like a little pet project. I figured if I'm going to bring Xanthic in, that I want to kind of work it into some of the projects that I'm already doing.
Yeah.
And I know like you're focusing on empty back, and empty back is a cool, and that's where I'm putting my stuff with cappuccino in. But with Xanthic, I really wanted to bring something different to Pixel. And I know people have been working Pixel into Lily White, and not a lot of people have been trying to test the waters to see how Pixel reacts with different things. And I thought it'd be kind of neat to see how it reacts with Xanthic. Thanks, Nikita. He is very handsome. Spoonman's a sweetheart too. So this is Dorothy. So Dorothy is another pickup from Modern Gecko. She's a yellow lily white. That's her fired up here. She's has some pretty awesome structure to her, a big wide head. The cool thing about her is she has all these huge red dots and
I
red
love
freckles
her.
everywhere.
I've seen
Like,
her in person, and she's so pretty. Sorry to cut you off.
No problem. I find like, so I personally try to stay away from dots and lilies, and I know a lot of people do too. But there was just something about her that was so special. And even like I was gonna work her into like my C2 projects and like bring that yellow vibrant out. And I know my C2 male as well as empty back, so that I can work in the head empty back into yellows and into lily white. I ended up hatching out a bunch of lily whites with head empty back on them, so I have those now. But it might be like to bring new lineage to that. But it's the dots to me. Like even if she stays as a pet and I don't have plans for her, I don't even care. Like she's just absolutely gorgeous, and I had to have her.
Yeah, she's amazing. Amazing. I seen her in person the other day at your house. And she was just
Yeah.
her dots, like the red. They're so red. Like they're just
And she has tons of
so
freckle,
great.
like red dots all over her face and red dots down her dorsal. And like
Yeah.
there's a couple black dots, but not many. Like most of all of them are red, which is
Yeah.
really weird. Like I haven't seen red dots on yet. Like you see confetti, right? And you see a lot of it on reds, and you'll see it on like confetti on yellows and stuff, but like almost just solely red dots on yellows is really neat.
Super pretty. Super, super pretty.
Thanks, East Valley. I like the dots on this one. Yeah, I know. It's hard to see dots on a lily, but like she pulls it off, man.
Yeah, she
She's
pulls it off
really
really
cool.
well.
So this is Shorty. So I did not purchase Shorty. Shorty is here on loan. So I am taking part of a collab project with Modern Gecko. And Shorty is going to be part of that project for the next male that I'm going to show next. Shorty's soft scale, and she does, when she fires down, she's the lavender, but she has some green hues to her. So she's going to take part in what my husband likes to call the Hulk project, even though I haven't called it that, but it's kind of a fun name. It's going to be a green project that I want to work soft scale and hypo into. And so she's here, and I'm taking very good care of her for Sam. And she's absolutely the sweetest gecko ever. And it's going to be for a pairing with this guy. So I have a couple pictures. This one's mid-fire. So this is Lipton. Some of you have been around a little while, probably have seen Lipton. Lipton used to be with Aristomorphs. And when he ended up getting sold, he was with Valor Geckos, and that's where I picked him up from Valor. So I was super excited because I have been keeping my eye on Lipton. Well, I wanted Lipton when I first saw him. Like, this was years ago when I saw him. And I actually have a Lipton baby here from Aristomorphs.
Yeah, I remember you bought it. Yeah.
Because she had the pair, she had paired him to this other greenish looking gecko named Basil. And there was a wait list going on. And then I saw Basil was getting sold, and I had inquired about Basil, and she was already sold. And so then I was like, well, do you have any other hatchlings or anything? And she had a holdback release. So I ended up picking up one of his babies with Basil. And with that, I don't know what happened to Lipton. And then her page just kind of disappeared because we had gotten a couple geckos from her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the page just kind of went MIA. And then he popped up again recently, and I was super excited because I had wondered where he went. So if you guys want to know why I'm so excited, this is Lipton when he's fired green. And this is not even show the level, like to capture the green was so difficult. He is vibrant green when he's fired green. So he has kind of like this dull fired down moment where he's almost kind of bluish, which April you saw in person.
Yeah.
And then he has this kind of weird like a little bit higher fire than his, like when he's starting to fire up, where he gets like this vibrant, like clover green. Like it's just so vibrant. And then he fires up and he's like jet black. So the goal with him is to see if we can produce some hatchlings by bringing in soft scale and hypo in that to try to keep that green more consistent. And I know not many people have worked with greens, so we'll see.
I'm really excited
Someone's
to see how
got
that
to.
project.
Yeah,
Really
someone's got to.
to see how that project works for you.
Yeah. And that's why I was talking about your lady. If she's firing green, then definitely want to see what happens from there at
Yeah,
some
we'll see
point.
what happens for sure.
Yeah. So, Secret of the Ooze Green. And Teresa, well, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
I have to say, like, I'm really excited about our European imports, but he, just because I had my eye on it, like I have pictures, snapshot, like screenshot in my album from years ago of this gecko. So I'm just really excited. Thank you, Valor, for putting him in my hands. I'm really
Yes,
excited that I was able to snag him and see what he's going to be able to produce and what he'll be able to do, right?
yes, yes.
So now we're into the European ones. So
Mhm.
this one here is Visa. Visa was fired down yesterday, which is kind of neat because I'm able to show the tangerine on Visa. So she's a red lily white from Czech Republic, and she's also head empty back. So you see down her back, she has a bit of that stripe. Um, and when she's fired up, her tangerine is not as noticeable because her back into like her hind ends up getting much more white. But when you see her fire down like this, I took her out. She's been kind of semi-fired and fired up since I've had her. And then yesterday when I went and took these pictures was the first time I've actually seen her like fire down this low. And all the white was glowing this like orange color, which was so insane to me. And here's like a picture on the top of her, like how much she just glows. So she's going to take part of the empty back lily white project and kind of puts me a little bit ahead of the game and now adds tangerine to that, which is pretty awesome. And this was her picture on the site. So you can see that she had the tangerine hints on her, but then when she's fired up here, she's red. So you can see it goes more white.
She's so pretty. I almost bought her. Like I almost picked her, but I went with the other one.
Yeah.
She's stunning.
Yeah, no, and she's a little piggy. This one's I saw caught her eating. The other one hasn't eaten much yet, but she seems to be interested in it. She knocked down her food bowl yesterday. And both the Czech ones went, and I ended up taking to the vet this week just to do kind of like a health check with them, and I have built a relationship with that vet and to get fecals done on them and stuff because they come from Europe and just trying to do our due diligence while they're in quarantine. And he said like they were stunning and how healthy they were, and I was very, very, very happy with the pickups that we got from Europe for
That's so
sure.
great. That's so great.
And
I
my
will
last
definitely.
dude is like
Oh,
one of my favorites. This is Corcovado, or Vado for short. I have named him after my horse that I had for a very, very long time that passed away a few years later. That was my heart horse. And he was a chestnut. He was super like bright orange. And when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, he's so orange. And I don't like reusing names, but I'm like, you deserve it. You deserve that name because he was such a spectacular horse and you're just a spectacular gecko.
yeah.
So this guy, you saw him in person
Yeah.
when you came over the other day, and he is so orange.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Like,
It's like you pick an orange off the tree and that's him. Like super orange.
yeah. And like, so this was his picture where on this, like when I bought him, and you could tell the tangerine was there. And I wasn't expecting as orange as he was. Like he looks a little bit more washed out in this picture. Whereas this is him fired down. I'm having such a difficult time capturing pictures of him because if I do them in the house and he's not fired down, he's more fired up. It's like the orange gets so saturated that it gets too orange. And I posted a picture on Instagram, and it also alters the orange when I post it on Instagram, where it makes it look like super, super exposed, like it's like super vibrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to figure out like once maybe getting some light box pictures with him. I don't know, but like yesterday when he was fired down, his whole body was like he was covered in orange dust. Like he was just completely vibrant. And yeah, G says he's no Cheeto man. So he was my second pick. So my first pick, you remember you saw the pictures of him in April, the one I was dubbing Cheeto man.
Yeah.
He was even more vibrant orange. And I learned this week that AJ from from the Gecko Pod, he picked him up. So he got Cheeto Man. And yeah, he sent me pictures of how he looks, and he's just as orange and as I had expected. It was a little sad that I didn't get him on time, but this guy is just as pretty. Like, he's stunning.
He's so gorgeous. So gorgeous.
Nikita says the orange red morphs have been really beautiful lately, and I feel like they're kind of slept on. So I'm glad someone is thinking of a project and trying to pull out those colors. Yeah. And I have tangerine here in and I think actually in 2 of my lilies and in 1 gecko. So it doesn't compare. Like,
No.
honestly, this tangerine is completely different than the tangerine stuff that I've seen here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were discussing it the other day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I have 1 Canadian tangerine lily. I have a tangerine lily from the States. And both of them are very consistent looking. And this here is like night and day.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised the difference of how they look. So we'll see what happens with him. He's gonna take part in some triple X stuff. And we'll see, like, the other one's gonna be empty back, so we'll see what else I'm gonna to kind of put him to, but got some secret plans behind the scene. So yeah, so those are our gecko pickups, guys. What do you guys think? April's humbled because she's sitting there, she's just thinking about how happy she is that she got these.
I am super like, I can't believe, okay, I have now, well, I guess you did the first import for the gecko, right? My first one from the States from AE Geckos.
Yeah.
But I now have imported, I'm going to like take some credit here, twice for these geckos, and I have not imported nothing for snakes.
Yeah. It's easier though because they're non-CITES, right?
Yeah, so I've exported snakes multiple times.
Yeah.
But I've never had to or felt like I needed to import anything for the ball pythons, because anything I need I can find in Canada 9 times out of 10. But I've noticed with the geckos, like, you really, the lineage is really important, and you can't just have repetitive lineage, right? So I'm just kind of really humbled just to, you know, I had this opportunity to be able to get my hands on, you know, brand new lineage, right? It's like, as a newer person just in geckos, it's kind of like a wow, like, I'm so lucky to be able to have that opportunity, because other people don't have that opportunity, right?
Yeah, and I think also having started with ball pythons and like, so like I started with ball pythons too with G, right? Like, the geckos was kind of like an offshoot to that, and then I ended up having more of a focus on geckos myself because that was my thing.
Right.
But that background in ball pythons, I feel like I'm just trying to think of how to share the point. Like, you see how many, like, so ball pythons is very much morph chasing, I find. Like, people are wanting the morphs. They're wanting like the next big thing. They're wanting to make combos, to stand out from others, or to reach that same level, or try or attempt to make something similar that's popped out that everyone's losing their mind over, right?
Right.
But I find with snakes, there's less of an importance on the look of the snake, the conformation of the snake, or like, if you're looking, for instance, if you're looking for Orange Dream is Orange Dream. And there's not many people out there that are going to say, well, I want the highest expression of Orange.
Oh, did I freeze or did you freeze?
In my plan. OD.
Oh, you froze on me. Hello? Oh no.
I'm back. I don't
Oh,
know what happened.
hi.
I don't
Welcome
know what
back.
happened there. That's
Well,
weird.
you were going on about Orange Dream and how Orange Dream is Orange Dream.
Yeah,
Um,
so like whether it's Orange Dream or any other similar type genetic, like people will just want to add OD into the project, right? As an extra genetic and see what it's going to do in the mix. Where with geckos, you have, okay, it's not just Lily, like having that lived experience with ball pythons. I'm trying to have, and I don't know about you, but you kind of bring in that new, different perspective coming into
mhm,
geckos. Whereas with geckos, you have so much more possibility and opportunity to be picky about things when it comes down to the genetic. So,
right.
like, you're not just looking at, and I'm sure there are people out there that are just like, I want lily white just for this because it's lily white and just put it to whatever. And we know that that happens, right?
Mhm.
We saw that with cappuccino in the States where there was a huge boom of cappuccinos, and cappuccinos were ending in Petcos and that didn't necessarily have the best structure or anything, right? Like pet quality
Right.
caps. But being new into the geckos and being able to start building the business from the ground up, you have the opportunity to say, I want to work with Lily, but I want to find a specific look in Lily, or I want to
Yeah.
work with a specific type of structure with Lily, or like I want Lily that's drippy or more full coverage, or you can be a little bit more picky on the structure. Um,
Right. So with ball pythons, right, we don't always have the opportunity, and it's not really talked about to look at the parents, right?
mhm,
So where with geckos, we have the opportunity to look at the parents and even the grandparents sometimes.
yeah,
And with the ball pythons, it's like, you know how you say orange dream is orange dream, but is it? Is it really orange dream? Like, yes, you have orange dream, but you can also have different variants of expression, quality, which some
yeah,
are brighter, some are duller, some just brown right out, some stay vibrant. I think it's the different lines of orange dream.
yeah,
'Cause I've seen orange dream that is like, are you sure that's orange dream? It looks like a
yeah,
normal, right? And then I have an orange dream in my racks right now, and it's like the dude is glowing in the dark. Like he is so bright.
yeah,
But with the ball pythons, people are just like you've said, they just want to mix and match and put everything in one animal and like hatch the 12 gene animal with 3 different recessives. Okay,
yeah,
that's what they want to do, and I think it gets lost. Like the quality of the different morphs gets lost because they just kind of want to mix and mash it and make a big
yeah,
mess of it. Where with the geckos, we can be extremely selective and be like, okay, let's look at the parents, let's look at the grandparents, let's see
mhm.
does down the line have what I want. Like, is there anything that I don't want to hit my hatchlings when I'm looking down the line, right?
Yeah, like East Valley says, breed with a purpose. And
Yeah,
even if you
exactly.
get something that doesn't have lineage and is just a perfect example, like I have stuff here that has no lineage, but when you look at the gecko, everything about it to me is a perfect example of what I want to be in that
Yeah,
project, right?
yes,
So it's up to me now to track that lineage throughout
yep.
and see how that gecko specifically in my breeding program is going to interact with other geckos that I put to it and how the hatchlings pan out. And also there's a piece where we do a lot of holdbacks more so than with things like ball pythons because
Oh yeah,
a gecko can change so much from its hatchling to it being 15, 20 grams. And sometimes you don't know the potential of a gecko until it hits that weight, right? So you
yeah,
tend to hold back a lot more. Like my first season geckos, the amount of geckos that I still have here that I've held back just to make sure that whether or not it's something that I want to hold on to because you don't fully know the potential till they get bigger.
yeah. The amount of times I've heard someone say I sold my gecko too soon because they sell it at 4 or 5 grams and then they see a photo of it at 12 grams, not even
Yeah.
fully grown, and it has made a complete transformation. They're just like, wow, the ugly ones always grow to be the nicest ones.
Right?
Always, that's what they say. The ugly ones always grow to be the nicest ones. Whereas ball pythons, you just have to feed them 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Two sheds, and you know their potential really. Um, so there is a lot of like a lot of back and forth, I guess, between the two. I love working with both. I love the fact that
Yeah.
my ball pythons are so low maintenance. Okay, I don't need to tend to them every other day. they're so low maintenance, and the geckos, they keep me busy.
Yeah, they definitely are a lot more high maintenance than ball pythons, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, I think that we'll end that there. We've hit over an hour mark, and thank you guys for staying on and checking out our cool pickups. And thank you for those who get to come back after and catch the replay and get to see the stuff that we've kind of showed everyone. But I'm super excited for some of the projects. Like the next couple years, I'm stoked about
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
of the stuff that the potential that we can produce, of what we can produce and put out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible.
And like East Valley said, right, Chris, breed with a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and G says, "Oops, I shouldn't have sold that." Yeah, that's why I've been hoarding. He's wondering why you have so many geckos. Why aren't you like? Because I have the ability to keep them here. I have the space, and I want to hold on to some. No more buying, right? Yeah. For now, I'm basically looking at having a closed collection. I have enough of what I need for the projects that I want to produce. The only thing that I would consider bringing in would be another female for Lipton, but it's going to have to be the right fit. So if any of you are listening and you have the right fit for that Hulk project, something that can go well with green, then I may consider it. But
yeah, I've closed my collection too. I'm actually really happy with where it is right now. I have projects to keep me going. So she's closed.
You guys heard that, right? He's going to take a snapshot of that video and he's going to replay it to me every time I'm looking at buying another gecko. Yeah, there's always something new that comes up, right? But I think when you get to a spot where you have your projects that you want to work with and you have the stuff, you have the geckos that are going to take place in that project, at the end of the day, unless it's going to add value to that project or help you get ahead in any way, shape, or form, or bring new lineage to that because you've already gotten to a certain point a few years down the road that you want to add more lineage to it.
Right.
I'm now at a point where I'm buying with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the point where I was just buying just to buy them because I didn't know what I wanted to work with, right? I was just fresh. My feet are just fresh in the water, right? But now that I'm like 6 or 7 months in, 8 months in, I think. I think I have an idea, like a really solid foundation that I can just run with.
Yeah.
So.
What's this? Diva, got anything available to pre-buy before? Oh, yes, I do. He messaged me with what you're looking for and we can talk. I'm going to be posting before. So I'm doing the Expo in June in Ottawa. There will be geckos that I will be posting leading up to the Expo. So mid end of May, I'll start posting stuff if people are interested and want to see what I have for pre-buy. I post a lot of more of my high-end stuff on the website and on Morph Market. A lot of the other stuff is stuff that I end up bringing to the Expo. So things that are posted are usually things that were in my holdback rack that I'll list because I'm letting them go. That's kind of how I'm running it. But there is one that I did pull down. And April saw it because he's really nice.
I did. It's very nice.
Yeah, it was posted. And then I was like, nope, not anymore. It's staying with me. All right. Well, I think we're done with that now. And everybody have a great week. Have a great rest of your weekend and what's left of Sunday. And thanks again for joining us and supporting us. And we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So please